Pearl Izumi Attack Road cycling shoes versus the Tommaso Pista Elite cycling shoes. Let's compare them and see which one's better. So, I purchased this, my new Pearl Izumis, as a possible potential replacement or in addition to the shoes that I currently wear for my indoor spin cycling needs. So I've been wearing these for the past 150 rides, and I can tell you that these are very serviceable shoes. They're very reasonably priced. When I got them on Amazon, they were like $80, and now you can get them for a little bit lower than that. And yeah, it's a wonderful beginner shoe. And you can see that both of them have what appears to be the BOA system, but there are differences. I'm going to get into that. And you can also see that both of these shoes, they're size 41, they're about the same length. However, this looks like it's a little less wide than this. This looks narrow compared to this, and I'm going to get into that as well. So some of the things that people like about Pearl Izumi over Tommaso is, well, the Pearl Izumi name. So a lot of people like totally trust the Pearl Izumi name. If you go to an indoor spin cycling type of studio such as SoulCycle, they will have Pearl Izumi shoes for you to rent. Yes, for really, really cheap too. Really inexpensive rentals, like $4 or $5 to rent shoes. That's really reasonable for a shoe that's about $200 something. So pretty cool. So this is not $200. At one time it was about $180, and then it went down to something much lower than that. And I was able to snag these off of eBay for so cheap. And the quality of this is, I can tell you that the look and feel of this, it's so soft. It's so malleable, the front part here. However, a lot of people complain that these shoes are sized a little small, and so if you were to fit a size 41 here, you should get something like a size 42 here because of the snugger fit. Now, I'm going to dispel that myth right now. Initially, when I tried these shoes on, yes, they felt really, really snug. And I thought to myself, oh my God, I wasted my money. I spent this money so that I can get this shoe to potentially replace this, and this just seems like a little too tight. So here's the thing. This is what I tried. I wore these thinner socks. And even with these thinner socks, it was still snug to get my foot in here. Now, I will tell you that after 2 rides, these kind of like opened up a little bit. Because it's snug on the inside, it has to kind of conform to your foot. So I think that's where some people might have had an issue. Like they felt like this was snug, but really the shoe kind of conforms to your foot after a while. I rode 2 classes and this felt very comfortable on my feet. Very, very cool. Whereas this one, it's like, yeah, there was extra space to begin with, but my foot was like indifferent to this particular shoe. This has got a very stiff upper on the shoe. And I will say this, you probably shouldn't be wearing very thick socks with your cycling shoes anyway. You should probably wear thinner socks like this. This is the Tommaso Ultra Padded Sock, and it's got padding on the top, on the upper, as well as the bottom, and so it gives you that nice cushion effect on top and the bottom. And my feet fit nicely inside this size 41 shoe here. And it feels rather good. So I'm cycling, I get enough energy and power, and my foot doesn't hurt because, well, after a while, when shoes wear down, your foot's going to start kind of hurting, and that's not a good feeling. And so you have to replace the insoles. So what I did was I replaced the insole on here. So basically it's potentially like almost like a brand new shoe once you replace the insole. The insoles come out, and yeah, you can replace them for about, I think like $20 at most for a pair. Maybe less. Yeah. So you can get 3 different styles of insoles that are superior to the ones that you receive with the shoe itself. So you can get, for example, if you have a high arch versus a flat foot, then you can get different insoles for that. So you can do the same, I think, with these shoes too. I think you can, yeah, it feels like, yeah, you can replace the insoles here as well. So pretty cool. So yeah, I think you just need to wear the shoe for a little bit before it kind of opens up and kind of like fits over your foot like a glove. So yeah, and for here, I was going to go like all out and buy the super expensive Look cleats, but I decided, you know what? These cleats here, my Tommaso cleats, worked so well in my Tommaso shoes that I simply purchased the same cleats for this, and it works great. It's just, yeah, any Delta cleats will fit on here. You can also hook on SPD cleats as well if you're Spin Cycling Studio uses them. And yeah, you can use that. And here's the funny thing about this shoe versus this shoe. The one major difference is, yeah, this got this, right? This thing here, which is like, it's supposed to be a little bit of a grip so you don't slide as much. And I'm going to tell you that this right here is a more rubbery grip. It feels like hard rubber versus this, which feels more like plastic. And now that I'm kind of like rubbing my fingernail over it, it really does feel like plastic versus this rubber grip. Now, a rubber grip, as you know, is going to give you a lot more traction on surfaces. So when you're climbing up the stairs in a SoulCycle studio, not that you should be doing that, because it does in fact say that you should not wear cycling shoes on the steps, and that's kind of like a legal precaution. Most people do just walk up the stairs with their cycling shoes. So if you do walk up the stairs with your cycling shoes, this will provide you with a better grip than this. And your mileage may vary, of course, but that's what I've observed so far. And yeah, I'm not paid by either company to say good things or bad things about each shoe. I'm just here to review them and give you my honest opinion. I paid for these shoes myself. So yeah, so the front here also has this like hard plastic, but you never really get to use this because this thing's in the way. So yeah, chances are hitting this thing is very, very minute, and it probably won't happen. But yeah, there is a grip here as well. The front part of the shoe has like a light grip here as well, but you're probably never going to like walk and hit like that. It's mostly the bottom that you're going to be walking. You're going to be like walking kind of like up the stairs. So yeah. So the back lip of this Pearl Izumi is a lot more padded than the Tommaso. And I feel that that also contributes to the snug feel of everything. So if you don't like that, a back lip that's very thick, then maybe the Tommaso is for you. Also, it's a lot more padded on the rest of the lip here. So if you don't like that, that contributes to the snugness of the shoe. You can definitely feel it right here. This is thicker right here. This lip on the inside sides is thicker than here. Now, this was a little bit thicker too when I first got this shoe, so maybe over the course of time this is going to wear out a little bit, but I don't remember it being very thick at all. I can slide my foot in very easily in this shoe, and there's like room to spare. I've got like a good quarter of an inch right there in the front, maybe closer to half an inch. And so yeah, there's a lot of space in this shoe because of the materials that they used. Whereas here, we've got like, I don't know if this is leather. I'm not sure. It's like a nice polyurethane, I guess. But yeah, it feels a lot snugger. It feels more like a good baseball mitt than does this. This one's got like, as you see, this kind of almost like ballistic nylon, right? So maybe it is ballistic nylon. I'm not sure. But yeah, it's got this kind of a thing about it. And yeah, and this one here, if you take a look at the bottom, you can see the Pearl Izumi here has more vents on it than this. So that's another difference. And let's talk about, ooh, yeah, this thing right here. This is adjustable, right? So if you feel that your foot is too wide for this shoe, you can simply remove this is Velcro, and then just attach it according to what your foot width is. So yeah, that's pretty cool. This one, it's already, like it feels kind of wide inside already to begin with, so you don't need that as much. And also, as you see here, the lacings, right, of the BOA system. So this is actually the BOA system on the Pearl Izumi. This one is like Tommaso's version of the BOA system. So I'm going to tell you right now that the two systems are different enough that some people might complain about this, or they might not understand how to exactly lace up their cycling shoes. But it's very easy, and I'll show you. So in this one, you just slip your foot in and just dial, and it just tightens. It just tightens these twine strings. And then if you want to loosen it, you just simply reverse, and then you can open it up. So simple, right? This one here is a little different. Since this is the BOA system, you have to push this in so that it clicks, and then you can turn and tighten the strings. And then if you want to release the strings, you pull this out, and then you can just simply open up and it'll loosen. So it's a little bit different, the way of thinking of these two systems, even though they look very similar or the same. They look pretty much the same. That's basically it. It just looks the same, but it behaves a little differently, and some people may have an issue with that. but I think you just have to get used to one or the other. So yeah, so those are the differences between the two BOA or BOA-like systems. So yeah, I think that the color of this is pretty darn cool. The two purples, I love purple as a color, and so yeah, I think this is like really cool looking shoe. They also have other cool colors as well. This one is more like, okay, so it's got black with some purple accents, and you have to kind of love this pattern to want this shoe. Whereas this one, they don't even deal with a pattern here. It's just two solid colors. And so solid colors, you don't have to like deal with the, oh, I don't like that pattern. It looks kind of weird. Like some people are like that, right? Some people are very picky about things. And so having a solid color is actually in many cases better than a pattern. But I digress. Like, I was fine with this. At first I was like, yeah, the pattern's kind of weird. But it kind of grew on me over time. It's got like purple, it's got gray and white and black. And so it's like, yeah, it's a weird pattern, but I got used to it. And so I ended up liking it. Whereas this, it's like, yeah, you can't go wrong with solid colors, right? How can you hate solid colors? And this also comes in other colors too. Like you can get this in all white, you can get it all black. You can also get it in, I think there's like a turquoise blue color of this as well. So yeah, a single shade that is, no pattern. And so yeah, if you like that, then I think the Pearl Izumi is for you. Whereas this one, it comes with this funky pattern with black, as well as an all white one. And that's it. There's just two. And yeah, the price difference between the two of these, they're very similar, right? Even at their discounted state, they're very similar. So of the two, which one would I choose if I were to just buy one right now without ever spin cycling? If I was just a rank beginner and I had some money and I wanted to buy either one of these, which one would I choose? I would probably be fearful that my foot wouldn't fit into this, so I might get this one size up, right? So instead of 41, I'd get 42. But then I'd probably realize over the course of time that this shoe is intended to mold onto your foot, so it might have a little too much space for me after a while, because I have tried a 42 at SoulCycle. So SoulCycle rentals, they only have even sizes. They don't have odd sizes for whatever reason. And so the 42 was like, there was a lot of space between the top of my foot and the top of the shoe. And I was like, kind of like, it felt kind of weird, a little uncomfortable. Like I was wearing like my older sister's shoes who had bigger feet, for example. Like, if you can imagine that, like if you can imagine wearing somebody's shoes and they don't quite fit you, but they are of a larger size, that's why they don't fit you. That's what it feels like. It feels like you're wearing your mom's shoes when you're little and you're trying your mom's shoes on, and it's like, wait, these shoes are really big. So yeah, that's how you have to think about it. If you get a larger size, that's a little too big for you. So yeah. So I'm going to tell you that the power ratio, I think, is very close, right? This might feel a little better just because it's new. This one feels different already from my previous 149 rides because I replaced the insoles. So replacing the insoles does make a difference. And from what I've heard, you should replace your insoles like after some set number, X number of rides. Whatever that number is depends on the person. So you might be very vigorous in your riding, and so you might have to replace your insoles sooner than later. Whereas if you're just like a casual rider and you don't really get into the class with as much intensity as other people in the class, then you might not need to replace your insoles as often. So it all depends. Your mileage may vary. So that's how you have to look at replacing insoles. So when do you replace your shoes? Again, that is a your mileage may vary kind of question. So some people actually do purchase brand new shoes after a while, after X number of rides, and whatever that X might be 150, might be 300, might be 1,000, right? So I've heard that some people have used their shoes for 1,000 rides without any issues. They just had to replace their insoles. And that's really cool, right? That's really cool for me because I don't want to keep buying new shoes all the time. So yeah, but I got this one just because it was like a deal that was too good to be true, and I'm glad that it was true. I got it off of eBay. Somebody was just getting rid of them for whatever reason, and they were labeled as new. They're kind of new, right? They're almost new. I saw a little scuffage, like I guess they tried to put their cleats in here, and they didn't quite fit the shoe properly, so they had to sell their shoe. But inside, I saw no wear in the shoe itself. Like typically when people say like new, sometimes it's not like new. These are actually labeled as new, but without the tags. And so yeah, that much is true. It actually had the tags on. So I was like, maybe they just attach the tags on just to kind of like claim that they're new. But no, there's like no wear and tear on the insole, right? So yeah, and there's no wear and tear on the heel, or the only part that was wear and tear was where the cleats attach to the shoe. And like I said, it seemed like somebody was just experimenting with attaching cleats on there. Maybe they trying them out, and maybe it didn't fit, and so they were able to sell this to me for pretty darn good price. Yeah, so these were like $50 plus $20 shipping, $70, which is still cheaper than buying this in a new state, in a discounted new state from some other source. Yeah, so I felt very fortunate to be able to purchase this for this price. It's a fantastic price. And when I bought these were a good price too, but now you can get them for so much cheaper. I think you can get these for under $50. So if you can go on Amazon, you can see these shoes here for under $50, and it's a great beginner's shoe. So I think if I were a ranked beginner, I would still kind of gravitate towards this shoe just because it's cheaper, and that also gives you an opportunity to kind of test the waters to see if you really want to do indoor spin cycling. But after a while, if you want to get something better, then I think this would be the next step up. And yeah, this is like a very comfortable shoe once you attach the Velcro properly and get this kind of like snug on your foot after a couple of rides. So you have to get your foot used to this shoe. And yeah, once that happens, this is going to be a really nice shoe for you. It's going to feel really good on your foot. So yeah, pretty cool. So everybody, if you like this video, please slam the like button, subscribe to my channel. You'll see more videos just like this one. Until next time, everybody, see you. Bye.